Okay, so we were interrupted there briefly by technical difficulties, but I want to continue with the lyrical analysis. In the next verse, I guess it is, there are some interesting lines. When the words are immobile until you sit down, never feel they're worth keeping, they're not easily found. I thought this was a great uh, illustration of the frustration of songwriting, right? Like, it doesn't come easy, but even when we struggle, uh, we have to persist. It reminded me of a recent interview I saw with Andy Partridge of XTC.
XTC, yeah.
Yeah, who himself is a great songwriter, along with his partner Colin Moulding. Although they didn't often write together, I don't think they weren't. Well, Lennon and McCartney didn't always work together either, even though they're a songwriting team. But he said this in an interview I saw, which I thought was great. He said, "Never throw your bits and pieces out. When it comes to music, be a hoarder." So he said, always file away any little piece that seems good, or even if you think it's not good, keep it, because eventually you'll find a place for it. And Iggy Pop said something similar about Bowie. He said he never threw anything away. He kept everything, and he used everything. Eventually, if you work with it long enough, you'll find the proper place for it, and you'll figure out what to do with it. And so, there's a guitar interlude. Well, before that, he says you must really have something jumping, thumping, fighting, hiding away important to say. So you know that there's something you want to say, and you have to be patient. You have to let it come. Don't give up. I mean, sometimes you have to just pull away, set it aside, and wait, and then eventually the words will come. As he says after the guitar interlude, when you sing through the verse and you end in a scream and you swear and you curse because the rhyming ain't clean, but it suddenly comes after years of delay. You pick up your guitar, you can suddenly play. So it might be years later, and this has actually happened to me. I have a song that I wrote called Lonely God, and the riff I wrote, maybe 20 years before I finished the song. It was just something I played on the guitar, just fucking about, and then I found a place for it like 2 decades later. And there several examples in my catalog, shall I say, that have the same origin. They just started out as little bits and pieces. I didn't know what to do with them, but I eventually found the proper place for them. And then, of course, I had to fit them with other pieces. But I think that's an important lesson. Songwriters and musicians, too. Don't throw anything away.
Just
Eventually
file it under miscellaneous, and then whenever that time is right, whenever the
pull it
gods are
out.
aligned, yeah, there we go.
That's right.
You've got
That's
no
right.
excuse these days, Mark, with all the toys and tricks you've got on your phone, right, for doing these things. In the old days, you physically had to do it. Maybe you still do that. I don't know about your own writing purpose, but
Yeah,
digitally it might be a wee bit easier.
I'm pretty analog. It's for me it really does start with guitar and pen, and the guitar is like a shitty old acoustic, and I have a notebook and a literal pen. I usually type up lyrics later, but it starts with that, because I figure if it doesn't sound good, just singing and being accompanied by a shitty acoustic, you probably don't have anything. If you have something that sounds
The
like a
bare bones
song,
of something there. Yeah.
that's right. That's right. At least for now, that's the way I typically work. And sounds like Townsend worked in a similar way, most of the time. Of course, he played around with keyboards some as well, and I have too, but usually it is guitar and pen, which is probably why this song resonates so much with me.